Good afternoon to all. So let us proceed to the second session of this day four of this Hostel FDB on alternate fuels, biofuels. The speaker for this session associated with us is Dr. Arun Pratap Singh, sir. He is an assistant professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering in College of Engineering, Roorkee. He is the head of Solar Energy Center over there. He is associated as an assistant professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, for College of Engineering, Roorkee from August 2011 to till date. He is head of Solar Energy Center, project coordinator, MOOC coordinator, and responsible for implementation of latest technologies in education by introducing modern teaching tools. He has more than 9 years of teaching experience. He has also published two patents titled as multi-purpose suspension, rescue bridge, and smart hybrid solar kitchen. He has completed 14 projects received from three state government, industries, and colleges with total research grant of more than 28 lakhs. His area of work is industrial projects, solar energy, research methodology, and he is also an associate member of the Institution of Engineers from March 2012. This year, during COVID-19 pandemic, he has completed 9 industry-grade projects of work: automatic sanitizer dispenser, 1 liter plus 5 liter model, UV oven 4 tube, UV blaster 4 tube with CIR sensor, UV sanitizer handheld device, automatic sanitizer tunnel for human, for car, for heavy duty vehicle, face shield 170, 300, 450, and 600 GSM. 4 layered foldable shoe cleaner. So, Dr. Singh, sir, Sanjeev Kumar Lamba, on behalf of Guru Kangadi Vishwavidyalaya, welcome you in this FDP on alternate fuels, biofuels. Sir, I request you to kindly share your deliberations with us. The session is over to you, sir. Please, Dr. Arun Pratap Singh, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjeev. Visible all of you. Till now, I didn't get access to share my screen.
Sir, we are giving it to you.
Good afternoon to all of you. Yes. I'm just trying to share my screen. Hello, Sanjeev sir. I didn't having access to share content. Thank you very much. Now you allow me to share my screen over here and allow. So, is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So now. So, is it visible to all of you, sir?
Yes, please continue.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, thank you. A very warm good afternoon to all of you. Varun Pratap Singh, as sir told me a lot of things about me. So my today's discussion, we will do a discussion on the alternative fuels and its other aspects. The basic content of this presentation are, already know that there's a transition phase between well-known established energy sectors like which based on the consumable fuels and conventional fuels, and now we are going to shift on the renewable fuels. So alternative fuels come in between these two phases. So there's a lots of discussion which already happened in these 5 days workshop. So we will discuss in this scenario and this different aspect as biofuels and this H2O and alternative all aspect. So what we are going to discuss in this presentation, I will tell you few things about the energy, different aspects, how governments are having definitions and what their expectations for this alternative energy, what are the Indian policy, government policy for these things, and I will define the differences between renewable, alternative, and conventional fuels. And other thing that, as our Professor Sunil says, that there's a few things which I know about the different kind of research. I will tell you how we can precise ourselves. Either you are the bachelor students, a master students, or doing your PhD or doing a research work, then I will tell you that in this presentation that how you can find out the potential areas and can define your objective functions, which are the basic parameters you have to select it for your research, specifically in alternative fuels, and where you will get the exact and authentic resources. So now I'm going to start my presentation. So firstly, we discuss about the World Energy Outlook 2020. It is basic report which is generated by IEA, International Energy Association for 2020. Due to this pandemic, Corona, they still didn't publish data. They are assuming that they will publish data on 30th October. This report basically having a basic knowledge of world energy generation, the consumption, the distribution, and their economical aspect, the technical aspects, and they basically use the data which they get from the private sectors, industry, government industry, the government policy, how much a particular state government, country to country wise, going to be invested in renewable energy or the alternative energy and the different kind of fuels, and what are the basic technologies which are going to be developed in this decade phase. So basically this report covers 10-year time durations. So for this year, they are having, and one more assumptions that how the pandemic COVID-19 are going to be impacted on future energy consumptions. So see, this is the IEA website. This is a World Energy Outlook 2020, which will publish on 13th October. You can get this data over here, but yes, initially they are going to be charged something over here, but after a few months, this data will be freely available on this website. So here you can see it is a web store for IEA. Okay. Another data which they already published, there's a perspective for 2020, which was earlier published in early 2020. So here you can see this data is already free, and you can download this data from over here. Another site, see, there are a few other reports which IEA published annually. See, whenever we're going to be start our research, we need authentic data. So I personally recommend that take the data from the authentic website like IEA and the Elsevier Springer science cited documents, where you get the reference for this data and which are basically considered as authentic documents. So again, we're having a World Energy Outlook for 2020 and the investment for 2020, and this 2020 outlook is going to be present. Then see, there's a few other data which is already available on IEA website. I recommend that whenever you are looking for either fossil fuels or alternative energy or biofuels, you can look after these data from over there. So this is a total world energy need and consumption data Sankey diagram. Basically, Sankey is a kind of diagram which having wide detail of how we are going to be generate something and how we are going to be distribute this particular thing. In our case, we are talking about world balance, energy, then generation and distribution system. So from where you can get this data. So here you can see this is a IEA.org Sankey. Basically, URL link. You can download this data from there. So what we are covering over here, see, these are the on left hand side we having total countries and cumulative of few groups, just like OECD and non-OECD and America, Africa content wise. Or you can see over here this the first data which we are going to present here shows the world energy balance, and on left hand side this shows the different kind of energy which are energy sources which we are going to be harness, and in the right hand side you can see where we are going to be invest this energy. On the top side, you can see that this shows the statistical differences from last years, and it's on downward side. You can see that it shows the stock changes for annual basis. So on bottom side, you can see there's a video playing options. If you see this graph is having data for 1973 to 2017. It's also covered 2018 data, but it comes in the 2 years form, so it doesn't show the 2018 data over there. So what you can see, the whole diagram which is available in the form of this chart, and you can also take this time graph from over here. With respect to time, you can see how the energy consumption is going to be increased. So if you see here, each country having a 2 segment, that how much balance energy they're having and the final consumptions over there. So balance shows on top left side, and total final consumption is going to be seen on the top right side over there. So those who are already having this information, they can share this data with the students in a different area where they're working. So here you can see these things, and another, it shows the world oil consumption. As from previous slide, we see that the 9,937 million ton of oil equivalent is the total final consumption of world energy of 2018. And here you can see the oil leads and coal, then natural gas, then biofuel and waste. And here you can see the different kind of industries and residential area or commercial thing where we are going to be invest this energy. Here you can see for the similar kind of data we can get for India. Then the previous balance was 9,817 million ton of oil equivalent, and the total consumption for the current year was, for 2008 year, was 6,600 ton. If you see over here that the biomass produced was 185.1. Actually, I'm having a mobile presentation. My laptop is not working well, so it's a little difficult to me to read all the data over here. Okay, so then how is this going to be consumed for India? It shows the balance and the million ton of oil equivalent over here, and it shows that how much energies we are producing and how much we are consuming. Especially if you see, the whole data will come in a similar format. Okay, so it shows the balance. As you previous slide shows that the total consumption was 606 million ton of oil equivalent. Then by this slide, you can see how much we are consuming and where we are consuming. So this is again the global scenario for total energy consumption and how it will change from 2018 to 2040. It shows the future aspects also over there. See, here you can see that oil demand is going to be increased for next 2 decades. And a similar way, the natural gases and coal. Coal doesn't having too much impact, as we think that these are just as the perspective for next 2 years. Obviously, Corona pandemic having their own impact on this energy technology also. But here you can see the renewable energy is going to be improved for future drastically up to 4-fold. And similar way, then modern bioenergy, which comes cover our sector also, will be having a twofold. And the nuclear doesn't having that much impact. Then solid biomass also going to be decreased due to its environmental bad impact. So the hydro covers basically small hydro units over there. So this is the basic total energy scenario, that how past energy generation happens. So here you can see that the total primary energy supply in million ton of equivalent. So it's having an annual growth of 62.91% since from 1990. And similarly, the electricity final consumption is having a compound growth of 127% for 1990, and the total CO2 emission increases by 63.35% from 1990, and similar way CO2 emission per capita increases from 13.92%. I take this data from the IEA website. So as we are talking about the global scenario, so there are the few goals, which is known as a Sustainable Development Goal, which was earlier known as a Millennium Development Goal, and changes from 2015. Now this Sustainable Development SDG having a span of 2015 to 2030. Here you can see goal number 7, which says that each and every having rights of the affordable and clear energy. We are going to be discuss about this section over here. So if you see the basic definition of energy, as physics says, the ability to do work or motion in similar way is a basic the quantity type of property, and what we say the transfer of one form of energy to another form to perform either work, heat, or to shift object or to change its phase also over there. So basically, is a conserve kind of having a conservation in nature that you can save it, you can conserve it, you can transform it from one form to another form by different means. So if you talk specifically fuel, because fuel is one of the major way by which we can generate energy, or we can transfer energy by mass to fuel, mass to heat. So basically fuel cover most of the thing in a chemical form, so yeah, or electrochemical form by in the terms of battery over there. So fuel is a basically material which release energy as heat energy or to be used to form a bit different kind of work. So it generally having a purpose to store energy, and whenever we require is uh, it's stable, having a stability, and it deliver it either by burning or changing its form from one form to another form. So it must be easily transferred from one place to another place. So if you go in a subcategory of alternative fuel, so basically alternative fuel talk about derivatives which comes from petrol rather than petroleum, and also having a tendency non-conventional as a as an advanced fuel. Basically what we are going to do, we are going to just provide an alternative, not a complete replacement over there. So this fuel is basically having a famous tendency of the alternative fuels. So the material and substance which comes in this category are having partial combination of the conventional which we are using, and latest developed technology, either is a hybrid in nature or conventional in, like the biofuel which we are going to be create by the blending over there. So there are the few basic differences which I going to be telling this slide. Here you can see we having three different kind of category, like conventional fuel, alternative fuel, and renewable fuel. So basically conventional fuel, each and every knows this is basically three types: solid, liquid, gas, comes from the petroleums, and the source basically having human interventions means, yes, you didn't get any natural reservoir, co-reservoir on ground surfaces, you have to put it out over there, but the time duration is huge over there. But in case of the alternative, obviously we need little human intervention. Sometimes it's kind of renewable, like you will get the bagasse, you will get the corns by naturally, but to get fuel or oil from corn, you have to be processed these things over there. But renewable energy having basically naturally occurring tendency, and it's freely available in the nature. So conventional fuel doesn't having a infinite in nature, but similar the alternative fuels, but renewable having an infinite tendency. Means if you talk about the solar energy, wind energy, ocean, OTD energy, so these are the energy which we will get with respect to time. So conventional fuels in generally create pollutions, and but still economical. While we talk about the alternative fuels, they are the somewhat economical and having a moderate and efficient technology, which yet to be have to proven on economical aspects. So, but in terms of renewable, yes, there are a few technologies which are relevant, having relevancy, already having economical approaches and delivering serving to society, but still there's a huge gap to their efficiency. Most of the renewable devices doesn't have that much good efficiency as conventional. Power concentration is very low as comparatively conventional alternative fuel. So currently conventional fuel rules the world. They are the majority of contributor. Alternative fuel are going to, as government having their policies shift from conventional fuel to renewable fuel, the alternative really play important role over there. So example is diesel, and all kind of hydrocarbons comes in this category. And alternative fuel was the biodiesel, bioalcohol, natural gas, fuel cells, etc. And example of renewable energy are biomass resources, solar energy, wind and geothermal. So what the alternative fuels definition says. See, I cover few definition over here. So you already having too much knowledge about this biofuels and these things. But what government says, there are few governments which are much aware in this area. First is obviously European Union as having a B6 standard, create a B6 standard. Fuels means are the fuel or power sources which serves at least or partially, okay, as a substitute for fossil sources in the energy supply to transport. See, either especially in the field of transport. So they are focusing alternative fuel for transport purpose only, as per their definition, and which is having the potential to contribute in the decarbonization. Obviously, they're thinking about the environmental aspect also and enhance the environmental performance. So, of transport sector. Again, why I'm saying having this particular definition over here. See, whenever we discuss about the alternative fuels, most of the country talking about the transport sector only. Okay, so they include electricity, hydrogen, biofuels, and the synthetic fuels, and LNG and LPG in this category. What America says, here you can see they include gaseous fuel. The huge category is there. They like natural gas, hydrogen, then alcohol, ethanol, methanol, butanol, vegetable oil, and waste oil, electricity, hydrogen fuel in this category. And they say the same thing that these fuel may be used in a dedicated system that burn a single fuel or in the mix system to deliver same way for generation either electricity or to drive a motor vehicle over there. So similarly, another country is Canada, which also contribute a lot in this area of alternative energy. If I say they have similar words over there. This is whenever we are talking about alternative fuels, the sole source or of direct propulsion energy of the motor vehicle will be driven by this category of fuel, either ethanol, methanol, propanol, natural gases, hydrogen, electricity, or a blend fuel which contains at least 50% of one of the fuels refers to paragraph. It refers to paragraph basically this over there. And for the purpose of sections 4.2.5.2, the same thing they say that any blend fuels that contain one of the fuels mentioned in paragraph A to E of the same sections over there. So you can see European Union, America, and the Canada having a same kind of definition for alternative fuels. Why this definition is important for us? Because they are going to be invest in research and technology. They are going to be create infrastructure. At the same, whenever we are going to develop some renewable fuel, or you can say alternative fuel, we have to test it on engine. Because government definition says that we are going to be create an infrastructure the same way. So the similar way, the definition of China is a total focus on electrical vehicle instead of talking about the ethanol or methanol, propanol or biofuels. They say that their definition says that alternative fuel vehicle should comply with the technical guideline for the local production of alternative fuel vehicles. They should have a shelf life of more than 1 lakh kilometer, and the less than 7 hours to complete charge, and up to 80% charge within the particular time period. So I must consume the electricity with this 0.16 kilowatt hour per kilometer. So what about Indian government says? Indian government doesn't having a very clear policy till today, because if someone talking about the biofuel vehicle, then license facility is not available by government. But yes, government says about blend, what government is planning for future, what is the blend ratio will be planning by the future. And there's one more white paper on alternative fuel, which you can see. The reference link is given here. This PPT is also available with Sir, so you can take access for there. And if you say, whenever you're going to work on this particular kind of fuel, you need specific, you have to discuss about fuel and their properties. So where you get the data, means you know the definition, but how you know this? If you are talking about particular blend or composition, then how the particular density, viscosity, or different property are going to be changed with this particular combination. So there is a website, Alternative Fuel Data Center, which is basically developed by US Department of Energy. You can see over here. You can select any kind of fuel over there, gasoline or the biodiesel and electricity, ethanol, hydrogen, and you can see different kind of property over there. Whenever you need to draw the data from there, you can get this access by logging on their website. Why I'm focusing? Because few of you are doing research in this area, so you will get the data either by the Science Direct, by research paper review, and you can get data from here. If you get data by these sources, then obviously you will get the trends, different kind of trends for different property, which is not that much easy to access by research, understand by research paper, because research paper having their own trend and tricks follow. And if you're going to mix something, or you need to know little bit different aspects, whichever paper is going to publish, obviously you're not going to access. But here you can create your own combination. So see, this is a basic chart which is a sample data for alternative fuel, which is given by the again data center. So here you can see different property and different combination of fuel which are available. And for access, you can see the reference number are given there. You can see the table, you can see the graphs over there. Okay. So now what we are discussing over here, see, each technology having their lifespan, each product having their lifespan.
Dr. Varun?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, sir. Sorry to interrupt you. Can you give all these details after this FTP, or we have to?
Yes, I already shared this PPT with the presentation. You can access this data over there.
Thank you. That's why I'm asking.
Yes, I will definitely share.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, nice to talk to you, sir. Please. So
Please
by this
continue, sir.
graph, yeah, this graph shows that the percentage areas under the normal distribution curve, which shows that how the technology transformation take place. That initial phase, obviously this graph is 2.2 rule says that 13.59. There's lots of things which you already know. I assume this thing over there, but how the thing or trends changes. This graph says that the inventor basically contribute initially with some R&D center by first or angel investor by some research organizations, and then early adopter come with a category, and then majority the adopter comes this category, and then the deformation start take place, media hide this thing over there, and again de-acceleration take place, and in final way you know what are the advantages of this particular technology, what are the disadvantages, what are the limitations, and either you're going to be adopt this technology or you're going to be dump this technology, like nanoparticles. See, nanoparticle comes in 2000. Graphene comes also 2005, having a mature stage. People thinking that okay, graphene can change the whole world, but still we know development, lots of research required to talk in this way. So similar way, biofuel comes early, and I will show you the graph, and now we having a little bit mature stage that okay, none of biofuel is having that much potential to replace the whole conventional fuel which we are already having. So here is a hope so few of you know this Gartner hype cycle, which is basically having the 5 stages, how a technology start driven. So this graph is very useful. See, one of my friend is from MBA department, Dr. Upadhyay associated as a professor in graphic era. He having a very vast experience of research, and now as I have a mechanical engineering background, so their tools and techniques are different, very different from us. We having a traditional therapy and tricks which comes from IITs, how we are going to be do our literature survey, how we are going to be think that okay, these are our objective function, these are our parameters which we are going to work, how we are going to be define our whole system, and how we are going to be defend our final thesis or final research. But MBA or the lots of different technology and data collection methods. And yes, as AI comes, and we didn't having that much access as we are the traditional person from mechanical background, so we don't have that much access with data. But there are a few tips and tricks from my side. You can use these things for your own area of research. These are the normal representation. So if you are working in the field of alternative energy or biofuel, you can adopt this thing. I'm using in the field of the solar energy, basically. So I adopted the same thing, and I wanted to publish the data. Can you believe my paper is will be the third paper which comes on the Gartner Hype cycle? But in general, we don't work in this area in this way. And how this work is going to be influenced for our tension. So I'm going to be explained over here. See, this Gartner Hype having the 5 stages. First stage is technology triggered. So whenever some group of researchers start doing R&D with the help of some institutions, they have some setups. They basically categorize this setup. They publish initial paper. They says that this technology can be helpful in this particular category subject. So like a biofuel, okay. So few initial inventors or startup or venture capitalists starting investment in this particular area, and they with the help of this R&D people, they develop their first product, which having obviously high price and lots of potential to be customized. And then early adopters comes in the market, who are the various people who think that biofuel can be adopted as a conventional from the and can lead to conventional fuel. They modify their vehicles, and then mass media. See, the first phase comes to this point, and as the early adopter adopt this technology, the mass media, the people related to this technology start hyper this particular concept that okay, we having a huge potential now. The technology is going to be change the world. Okay, so this graph here can say on y-axis we have the expectations and x-axis we have the time. So with respect to time, this people, when the mass media people comes in any technology, then declaration or the peak point reaches over there. The same things also very famous in share market. When each and everybody is talking about share market, it means that the fall time comes. So 2020 fall is also not the exception, or the COVID is another thing. So now comes to topic. If you see the second phase, at the peak, this the most maximum investment, most of the people know about this technology. Either they read the newspaper, they see this in TV, or but they need the keywords, biofuel, okay, the alternative fuels, they are going to change tropha, these words, okay. And then what will happen? Then see, most of the early adopter know the facts that what they are doing, the result start coming. Means either the performance of the biofuel is not that much, the engine is not that much working well, the emission is not that much good, and the negative press start beginning. Means the adopter talking about the potentials which they're thinking, but the limitation of the resources is too high. So this the disappointment phase is started, which is known as the third phase. And people who are already invested in this, most of the people are going to be shut down their business, first thing, or new investment is hampering a lot, and the technology is not adopted that much. So the level of maximum saturations comes, and new investment by the various people, again, who either having the past experience in technology, or they think that this particular technology can be improved for future. So second round of investment and product development start, and after the disappointment phase, only 5 to 10% people having the interaction with the same technology over there. And then slope of enlightenment, which take lots of time. You can see over there, the time period is lots, which means in this phase, people already know the drawbacks because the hypercycle says that, okay, level of disappointment already tells you a lot that, okay, what are the disadvantages, what are the limitations, what are the other views which may leads you in future if you didn't have that much good technology potential, good energy potential per kg, and then you already know that there's a either I don't have to other kind of resources which are available in a market for either study or for investment. So when you goes to third generation product, like why I'm saying this thing over here, you already know why you having first generation biofuel, second generation biofuel, and third generation biofuel, which algae is covering this area. See, first generation biofuels, when this comes, Jatropha, Uttarakhand government also invested a huge amount of Jatropha in this Pahadi region over there, and they cover huge land mass. But what happened? No plant is going to be get either economical viability or the technical aspects of viability. So what happened? The second generation comes, now the third generation, and see, in third generation, nobody is going to be invested either in technology or in different way, and the product is now nobody is going to be hyped this cycle over there. Means now media is talking about that, okay, again the biofuel is going to be changed for the world. No, each and everybody knows that, okay, the blend possibility is there. We can replace a little amount of diesels with this particular combination over there. So we having, even government also having that kind of policy. So you can say this our biofuel comes in this particular category over there. Okay, and the last plateau says that the is a kind of the enlightenment and the productivity. When the mass community is going to be accept these things over there, still biofuel have to be acceptance in this phase. See, government already having policy in India to biofuel in a diesel in the forms of blends. So 20 to 30% potential customers covers this area and aspects, and we invested in this way that, okay, for future, see, when I was doing a study of my bachelor degree, then each and everyone says the mechanical is good. Today, each and every says the CS is a good potential. It's going to be adopted 20 to this particular area, because the development is going to be this area. So this Gartner hypercycle is different. We will discuss some other day, but here you can see that these are 5 different phases and how is particular technology going to be accepted. There's a few examples. So these are the few things I did. Oh, sorry. Due to I'm presenting in a mobile, so I have to take care of all these things over here. So hypercycle, see where I say it's come on the 4th phase, slope of enlightenment, and most of the fuel either in terms of the hybrid vehicle, the hybrid vehicle is producing by either most of the company. Honda is doing work over there, Mitsubishi is doing work, even Mercedes and the top class vehicle Audi, they are also having the same kind of potential. Tesla already having the electrical vehicle over there. So different kind of hybrid technology is already available in the market. Yes, economically and technically, so we can access these things over there. Why I'm saying this graph to you? Yes, this graph really needs each and every researcher that in which field they are going to be interested their lifetime, because whenever you select your research topic, then you have to know that where your particular technology is stand. And so there are the few things, and now I'm going to be discuss a second part of this presentation, which says that if a researcher is going to either in early age or in the moderate age, they are going to be invest 10 to 20 year time period. Then how they have to be selected a particular topic, the objective or the area specific thing, area we know that, okay, by this the topic and the objective function and the parameter of research, how we can say. See, most of the time when people saying that, okay, can you define, firstly, can you define your objective function of your PhD thesis? So you can say, okay, yes, sir, I did literature survey from 1990 to 2020, and this researcher did this kind of work. These are the basic parameters they selected. These are the range of they selected. These are the outcomes which they having. These are the challenges they face. These are the future aspects which we cover. On the behalf of this particular thing, there's a gap where I can work. There's a gap. Then on this huge gap, I selected this particular 3 or 4 thing over there. I selected this 3 or 4 parameter with this particular range, and that's why I'm doing work. This is a traditional method which we use till today. But see, now we having a huge database of scientific publications, which is also known as SCI. So this database, our concept, what we say is the IIT and traditional system says that not each and every IIT. As I also having getting guidance from a few IIT people, that they assess. Okay, my first review paper was the same way. That what I did 74. I take 74 research paper, few review paper, and I make a table. Okay, now where I stand, I know this. This data can be driven in a single day. There's no need to get that much data. Library and extract huge data with you. See, as you know that this is a normal distribution curve. If there is a few parameters which having, if your objective function is fx and fx having a x1 to xn value, which can create impact on your objective function, then either they come they having a potential to 2 to 5 below 2%, that your objective function doesn't gonna to be get too much hamper, too much positive or negative aspect, as distribution curve having the positive or negative side both. So means you can think that, okay, from 50 parameters, I know more than 30 parameters come in this segment, and I can skip them because they having only below 2% impact objective function. And in similar way, there are a few more 4 to 5 parameters which having impact of less than 5% plus minus, and there are the other 10 parameters which having an impact of less than 50%. A very few parameters which comes in the category of the up, which having either more than 50% or up to 80% if you very less parameters are there. So a single parameter can have influence more than 50% of the objective function. It must be covered in your presentation, objective function. It must be cover your analysis. Obviously, up to 5% or above 5%, each parameter should be comes here in considerations. If you are going to skip it, then you have to be a proper justification for it. Otherwise, you're not going to skip this particular parameter. You have to fix it with a particular constant value. So by this way, you can define particular objective function. You can select objective function. You can select a range. The same distribution curve works for each and everything. Actually, I have a whole presentation for this thing, but it doesn't suit to cover over here. So I just take a basic data over here. Hope you are enjoying these things. So now you can see what we can do for these things. The different way where we can use artificial intelligence and machine learning in our field as a mechanical engineer. So what I did, there's a few bibliometric tools which are available as software, R, network analysis, and for doing literature review. See, if you are very new about technology, you don't know which institute is working in this area, you don't know who are the best scholars who are working in this area, you don't know what are the keywords which for I have to search research paper, you don't know which are the journals having the more authenticity, more publication, which country having more publication, which institute having more grants with them. So these basic review which you can get access within 1 hour, tell you each and everything. After my presentation, hope you enjoy this thing and you will get the data. So what I did for my one of research, I am working in the solar air heater area. So what I take 4 basic keywords. One is a solar air heater, and there's the artificial roughness and the Nusselt number and friction factor. You can choose your biofuel, transistification, and any other thing, emissions parameter, performance parameter, viscosity, whatever you want to choose over there. These keywords was filtered, and I take this data and do access with the scientific research, and I did analysis for 342 peer review articles all articles are SCI. Okay, I didn't take the Scopus, or you can say this ESCI. Yeah, there are 6 ESCI data which also cover this area. Okay, so I took data for the period of the 1988 to 2020, and here you can see the average citation per document is 22.6, which is really good. Developed by 404 author, and I use Bibliometric and Scopus. You can also use the WebEx data from there, or Web of Science data over there, and using it by the software R, I get this interesting thing, which is here. See, in 1988, and from this place to, you can see 2018, we having a very good number of articles published per year. Today, this area is well, more than 50 articles published per year. I say with my keywords, okay. So I know that, okay, because a trend is gonna to be increased, means I can work in this area. Publication potential is very high, means by SCI journals like solar energy, fuel, renewable energy, nature, like these things. Also, I know that potential is very high. If I start working in this area within a 2 or 3 year, I will be able to publish articles in this field. See, if this graph is starting going down, like the I show you, then I can assume that, okay, I shouldn't adopt this technology or this trend to do research in this area. If I start researching, investing 3 or 4 years in the same time, curve is starting decline, means the depression phase is started. See this curve. Now we are still having the positive curve with us. Okay, so I don't know the up to 70, 80, 90 article is going to publish in this area, but yes, the trend shows that this stream is positive. Means if I publish paper, then for next 3 to 4 years, this graph is not going to be lesser than 40. So here you can see or understand that how we have to select the topic over there. So next, this is also average article citation per year. It shows that some year in 2004, there's a no article or lesser article which is cited. Cited obviously on the research grounds, we know the impact of the citation on our career. So if our document is not going to be cited, it means we are not going to be referred by other people, and our Google Scholar citation, H-index is not going to be influenced that much. So obviously, I have to choose some area where the citation potential is here by this graph. You can see 7.5 is very good for particular area. So we did a descriptive analysis. As the time to cover this topic within a particular time period. So see, the bibliometric we use the data by the Scopus data center, and you can also use by WebEx, Web of Science, the Dimension, the PubMed data, and you can analyze this data with the software R. There's a few methods you can filter this either by keywords, by references, by journal, by country, by institution, and the trend of a specific field. Means if you are working in this renewable energy, or you can say biofuel, you can working in the hydro energy, you can select your keywords from there. So these are the basically descriptions of the tabular form what I use. I analyze software R, website is Scopus, database is SCI, I told you, and then category is science, engineering, and C. The search word is solar, air, heater, artificial roughness, fiction. The total document I considered is 342 for period of 1988 to 2020. Then source means reference journal books are that much, keywords this much, and you can actually see this. If you see over there, average citation per document is 22.4, author are 404, the author appearance is 984 times. Means each author co-author per document is more than 2.8. So the total article is 271, and the document type is this one. Okay, so review paper. See, this is the basically 3-field plot. These are the different research. This 3-field plot shows most visited author. I select 20 author over here, so you can see G.S. Saini sir, R.P. Saini sir, sir, and Thakur. they are the basically renowned researchers of this particular field. Then on particular keywords they work, like solar air heater. You can see in the mid of this graph. Then thermal energy, then Nusselt number, then friction factor. These are the basic keywords their paper are associated with. And the final paper solar energy, renewable energy, and the other renowned journals. So by this diagram or threefold plots, you can know that okay, I can access this data by this way. And see, if we then see the most relevant 20 author which work from 1990 to 20, so 1988 to 2020, the year is 1988. Okay. So the journal of basically sources of solar energy. Hope you know these journals, and they're having the very good citations and impact factor also. The sources. I select again 5 sources, and you can see that the solar energy is the most acceptable journal who are publishing the paper in this area, and renewable energy. And they publish annually more than, right now they are publishing more than 5 or 4 paper. So if I send my paper to this, obviously good quality paper to this particular journals, then the acceptance, chances of acceptance will be good. Sometimes we do good research, sometimes we having very good data with us, but we didn't select a very good journal. Or the journal is specific for this area. Yes, there's a return with each and every journal that they having a specialized or attention on this particular area. But by this trend, you already know where I have to publish my paper, or which particular journal publishing more and more article in this particular area. If you see over here again, then it shows the different trend in tabular format. The solar energy 5 articles, 45 documents with the article number that much, and solar energy H index for solar air topic is 23, and it's cited 2,136 times. This and from 1988, paper was published in solar energy, and see how the journal are working this area to improve their H index, definitely of the particular research. Why this journal having a more cited, because they don't want to lose their traditional area, because H index refer or will increase when they refer the same kind of journal to by the different researchers who are working in the same area. So again, you can see the renewable energy and energy, the top 3 journal having that much 45, 31, you can say 100 documents over there, and they having a very good citation, more than 3,000 over there. So similar way, you can see this is a Bradford's law. Hope you know the Bradford's law. It says that okay, annual basis, if I publish one document next year, documents number is n, the next year should be documents number n square. If not, then what is the partial fraction we get there? So you can see that solar energy, the top 4 journal which having this thing, that if they publish 40 paper this year, then next year they publish lesser, or this data comes from the low value. What it means? This graph shows the negative aspect. No, this graph is very good. It shows that okay, each year we having a tendency and potential by this renowned journal that they can accept your data. So you can see the energy journal and solar energy journal both having more relevancy in this area, my area. So most relevant author you can see over here, Professor J. Saini, A. Kumar, R.P. Saini sir, they having more citation, and their impact is very high comparatively. You can see Professor J. Saini sir having more than 30, around 28 impact factor, average impact factor, H index for solar heater increasingly. So these are the top authors who produce their documents, drafted, published their document in this area. This graph is, very unique. It's tell when particular researcher start his research and when he stopped, or which was a key paper for his life for this particular area. And you can see that obviously time spent, you can directly interact with the resource person because they have a lot of knowledge. As you can see, by this way, you can quote their paper, you can get interaction with them by mails, and you can visit their facility and get guidance from them. So as we see, their JS Senisa published first document and is till 2017 he's publishing different paper. Like you can say this Solanki sir start his work in 1993 and doesn't publish any paper after 2009. So by this graph you can see that okay, he changed or shift his area, but still this graph shows that after 2000 we having a huge now people who are working in this area, and they publish very good research article. As you can see, the impact factor is very high and the cited document is very high. So if someone start working in this area, then still there is a chances to get acceptance of their research and as well as thesis. So is a co-citation network for authors published in the field of the solar area heater who publish data with the whom. So by this way you can get data. So here you can see the B.N. Prasad sir published his first paper with the and under the guidance of J.S. Senisa. So B.N. Prasad is author, so it shows the B.N. Prasad over here, and you can see they further integrated with this different people of society, and this data shows up to 2013 because it takes at least 5 years to know the other webs. So by this you can know that which country is publishing more. If someone want to shift for Europe, or for someone want to shift for Canada, and you think that your area is having a potential to which can move you to this country, so just visit this method and you can access your data that okay, is there potential to be moved in this country. Just like see, in my country, my data, the India is leading as already 134 articles are published by India, and the total citation also leads by India and the average article citation. So US is also starting this work in this area. So Thailand, Yemen, Korea, Algeria, Ethiopia, these are the basically countries having the good this solar radiation count on their surfaces. So they are working in this area. So by this way, you can know that, okay, if I am starting working on the biofuels or particular combination of the particular technology, then which country is producing more data? Or if I'm thinking to shift to the particular nation or one country, then my data is going to be lead me there or not. So by this way, this will be helpful to obviously India leads most, especially think that NITs and IITs contributing more. The most see, this data is not only India. Actually, I told you that I take the data from SCI, so but as India is leading this thing, the top 10 countries and the top 10 institutions are also from the affiliation from India. See, NIT, IIT, ISC, Maulana Azad, Punjab, DIT, Vishwesvaraya, and then King's Mau and University of Roorkee. The University of Roorkee means IIT, itself IIT. So they publish data in this particular area. So by this way, you can understand that, okay, if you visit IITs and NITs and associate with them, the particular professor who are working there, then you can also first get the guidance from there and also get a good quality of resources and can design and develop your setup with the help of these institutions over there. So these are the basic trends and the frequency of the top 20 keywords from author. So whenever I start working in this area, then what should be the particular keywords on which I have to focus? See, solar air heater, the friction factor, heat transfer, artificial effect, Nusselt number, CFD. So this way I can select more relevant keywords to for filtering for different research. And here you can see the keywords and word tree map for the keywords. And there are a few more slides which I didn't add this paper due to actually till today I didn't study this area well, but these parameter, if you select this parameter range, which is already available by this bibliometrics, then you can select your parameters, you can select their ranges, you can even combine more than 20 parameters set in a single set. See, whenever a lot of study has been done that, okay, if I'm having a parameter of x, y, and z, then if I vary x, then it creates some differences on y. Obviously, it creates some differences on z. But if I want to know that what are the impact which was developed by influence of x on y and y having influence on z, that kind of combination set is not easily available on this research papers. But by this way, or using this, you can develop that kind of combinations, and you can understand that, okay, on this particular parameter set, I can work in this my area. So these are the basic things which I have for today's presentation. Hope you enjoy a lot. So this is the few last slides. Here you can see the trends and topic for my area, where I should work, see from 2016 to 2018, which are the basic keywords who are trending more, and what should be my area of work. So these are the final things. Hope you enjoy a lot. Thank you very much. And